What's good, everybody?
Hello.
Chilling out, Mike's. We just watched some really bad pay-per-view.
Ah, extreme pay-per-view.
Extremely bad.
Extremely bad. Wrestling.
So we didn't get to do our comparison challenge last week of Total Recall 2012. So we're gonna get that out of the way right now.
Plow through that.
So, instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, who do we get, Mike?
We got Colin Farrell. And instead of Sharon Stone, we got
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale. Right. And our thoughts before we compared the two were that this movie didn't have to be called Total Recall.
And you notice this is like a recurring theme of a lot of movies we watch?
Like the RoboCop even. Didn't have to be called RoboCop. Even though it was too close to RoboCop. You had to call it that, I guess. But Total Recall more than any of the other ones. Because you could have just watched that movie and not even realized, because they didn't really even bring up, they had a lot of Easter eggs. They had the Mars thing.
They had the 2 weeks.
Right, 2 weeks and things like that. But
yeah.
Other than that, the only thing that was the same was the recall place. And the names.
That was the only thing. Yeah.
Some of the names.
They are okay. Compared to RoboCop, this one did have more of the real characters' names from the first one than compared to RoboCop.
Right.
RoboCop didn't have. God, at least there was Cohagen in this.
But they did do the Easter egg, like you said, in RoboCop with the hand. He kept his hand.
Yeah,
in the original one, they said to get rid of it.
Yeah, they did do that.
But yeah, they do a bunch of Easter eggs in this, but it had nothing to do with Mars.
All right, but there was a Cohagen in this.
Yes, there was a Cohagen, and
played by Bryan Cranston.
There wasn't a.
Who was also Dick the guy who played Cohagen in Total Recall. Let's also say he was also Dick Jones in first RoboCop.
Dick Jones, which is short for Richard somehow. But yes, and there wasn't any Quado.
Man, there was no Quado in this movie.
No Quado in the stomach. No.
How you not have Quado? You have all the other characters. There was no Richter either.
Right, there was no Richter. Actually, it's interesting because the Laurie character played a big part in this, where she didn't really play a big part.
She was like a combination of Laurie and Richter from the first one.
She was the one who was pretty much tailing him the whole time.
The whole movie.
Yeah, she was the Richter.
They got these Jetsons cars
flying around in the air. It was a little different.
They're basically living like the Jetsons.
High houses.
They're like the low class people who have to live high above. What was it? England was cut off into 2 sectors or something.
Yes. And
the colony.
The story kind of was the same.
And the United Federation of Britain.
United Federation of Britain. The UFB.
That's where Colin Farrell works. He wakes up in the colony, and then they have to do this friggin' free fall loop down into
to go to the other side of Earth,
United
pretty much.
Federation of Britain.
Yeah, exactly correct.
There was no similarities in this one. No similarities in this one. Compared to the first one.
Except for the brain melt.
What do you mean the brain melt?
When he went to Recall, that was pretty much the same premise. Where he was already a spy, he goes to Recall, and the
that.
Not to mention, if you watch this movie, he doesn't go to Recall till like 45 minutes into the movie.
This movie is drawn out.
Yeah, they drag it out pretty good. If you guys like dragged out movies that and nothing happens right away, you're gonna love this movie.
Drawn out as hell.
100%. You had your. You had a lot of different things. You had your, what was the name of his buddy? Who's played by...
Joaquin Woodbine from Strapped. You ever seen Strapped?
Right. But you're talking about, what was his name in the show?
I can't remember.
Jack or some shit like that.
I can't remember.
Right. And I don't even believe his name was Quaid, right? Was it?
His name was Quaid.
Right.
They got a lot of...
Cohagen was somebody else.
Yeah. It was Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about Hauser was somebody else, right? Originally.
Oh.
They did something where Hauser was
special guest appearance by Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember when he's talking to him and he takes off his disguise?
Yeah, Ethan Hawke. And instead of a little round tube in his nose, which was the tracker, was something in his
It was
hand,
the phone.
right?
He has a cell phone in his hand.
Right, everybody talk with a cell phone in their hand.
And
like, yo, what's up, my man? What's up?
He's told to rip the cell phone out of his hand.
Speak a little louder.
First of all, he just got the call. He's like, why the hell's my hand lighting
Why
up
is my
like
hand
this?
glowing?
So the dude informs me, he's like, put your hand up to some glass. He does this. Dude's giving him instructions. He's like, rip the phone out of your hand. And remember when he rips the phone out of his hand, he gives it to some dude who's just sitting on the
Right, he's
stairs.
like, yo, I want one of those. Gives it to some dude. Right, then they end up tracking his ass. Yeah, it was a little different, his little tracker, and it had a lot of different things involved with it. Colin Farrell, you can't blame him. He just takes any role that comes along. He came up quick and he died quick, Colin Farrell. He never became the action star that people thought he was gonna be.
I don't blame
like
him.
a
I blame whoever friggin' greenlit this.
Right,
Whoever
well,
called
well.
it Total Recall. Whoever stamped the name Total Recall on the friggin'
Well,
on the
look,
script.
you could have made it better. You could have made it better. And let me tell you, there was a lot of eye candy. There was a lot of visual effects and crap like that. But the story
The effects were good, but some of those fight scenes were horrible, dude. Some of those fight scenes were fucking horrible.
And if you're comparing it to original Total Recall, you're not going to get the same satisfaction.
Do we sound like grumpy old men?
Yeah.
talking about shit like this?
Yeah, G-O-M. We're grumpy old men. I don't even think we're grumpy old men.
No, I'm
even
saying,
if a
like,
millennial
people
watched-
might think that we sound that way. Whatever.
No. If you're comparing it to...
If I would like something, I would like something.
it would be a good movie if there was no Total Recall at all.
If
Like,
it didn't have any connection to it whatsoever.
Right, it would be decent. A decent movie. I wouldn't say good movie, but it would be a decent movie. A lot of good special effects in it.
I will say I didn't hate the movie, but by like the middle of it, I was like, could this just end already? I was kind of a meh for me.
Yeah.
I'd say a meh. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say horrible, but
Not to mention, Colin Farrell never had the Arnold Schwarzenegger type status in movies that, nobody watches the movie because Colin Farrell's in it. At least I don't think so.
Women have.
I guess so. But women aren't going to go see this movie. Right? Maybe if he was in like a Fried Green Tomatoes or Steel Magnolias reboot. Or something like maybe a Thelma and Louise where he plays a Brad Pitt character.
Man, now they're gonna reboot fucking Fried Green
Tomatoes. Oh, we gotta do a comparison.
It's all gonna be your fault.
Fried Green Tomato. That's a great. Yeah. So there's some superstar producer that's watching our shit who's gonna say these guys are onto something.
He is. Because they're so creatively bankrupt that they gotta fucking scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Fried Green Tomatoes. The movie was longer than the original, drawn out mostly. A lot of dialogue that didn't make any sense.
Was it longer than the original?
It seemed like it was an hour
felt
longer.
like it because it dragged. It felt that way because it fucking dragged.
Right, I mean, I would think so. I mean, Total Recall, it was pretty much action from the beginning. And even the beginning of this, they had like a sequence where it was a dream sequence, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't match up at all.
All right, let's see the running time of the original.
You had the guy from Harold and Kumar.
Oh yeah, he was there.
He was in
John
it.
Cho.
John Cho. You can't blame them for being in the movie.
The running time was 113 minutes of the original.
113 original, right?
The original,
right? Which is only what, an hour? Which is what does that? What do I mean? An hour and 13 minutes?
Shade under 2 hours.
Oh, because right, 120 would be.
118.
So it's a little longer. It just seemed like
It
was
just
way
felt
longer.
a lot longer.
It just felt a lot longer. So much dialogue.
Drag.
Yeah, but they had a lot of action with the flying cars and things like that, and it was good to see Kate Beckinsale, back to her, action-packed roles.
Yeah, she was good in it. I'll say that. Oh, all right. They were also building these robots. Remember, they were building.
Oh
robots?
yeah, well, yeah. Some of the soldiers had robot armor, and some actual
some of them
robots.
had human faces. Like some of them were just suits of armor, right?
Right. His whole job was to make armor for these people.
All right. So.
But if you compare it, there's no
All right,
comparison.
Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel is the girl he's dreaming of in the beginning.
Melina.
Yeah. She's Melina in this.
Yeah, they're doing an Easter egg in there with the 3-breast woman in the beginning.
Oh yeah, they have her. She's almost like right in the beginning.
They had the woman with the 2 weeks, who was actually a woman who looked like the.
Yeah, she was wearing the same dress.
Same outfit.
Too.
Hey, how long are you gonna be here? 2 weeks. And the same thing happened. He was actually dressed up in a different face. He had that thing around his. They tried to do the same thing where he was a different character and it malfunctioned.
But the Easter egg was supposed to be a distraction for the viewer.
Right. Yeah, 2 weeks. And then he gets noticed because he has that, and all the faces start coming out. Right, he wasn't a robot. He had like a face. It almost looked like this was more in the future than the original Total Recall was. They had more like futuristic crap in it.
It was kind of like ghetto future, like where they lived was so high up in ghetto.
They had no Benny.
There was no Benny.
You know, cab driver.
There was no Benny. There was no Johnny Cab. We didn't see a Johnny Cab at all.
No Johnny Cab. Which would have been cool, because if you had a Johnny Cab in the air,
that
would have been interesting, right? They could have done that, but
that's what I thought they were gonna do.
They didn't even go that route. Yeah, they went a little crazy.
You think they dropped the ball with this?
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, because look, if you're gonna make a reboot of any movie, you know that the original movie is always gonna be a hit. So if you're gonna take a hit and make a reboot, you have to make it more of a hit, better. And so far, not many. They haven't been able to do that much. We talk
far with the comparison.
Yeah, with the comparisons. Yeah, you can't really, except for like we mentioned this before many times. The Judge Dredd is the only comparison which I can say.
But that's also different because that was a comic book property.
But still, it's a reboot of.
That's true.
Of an original movie that came out. There was no Judge Dredd before the original Stallone one that came out in the movie theater.
I'm saying Judge Dredd.
Right, but still.
And you know what? Since you keep bringing that shit up, fine. That'll be in our next fucking comparison challenge, so you can stop talking about.
We don't have to compare it.
No, watch the Stallone one and then watch the Carl Urban one. We'll make it Phase 4.
So I like the Stallone one.
Phase
I like the
4.
Stallone one. They should make Demolition Man again. That's what
they
should
do. No, they shouldn't. No.
The first one was good, but they can make it even better. More like Social Justice type way.
If anything, if they were going to do another Demolition Man.
Murder, Death, Kill.
If they were going to do another Demolition Man, should have did it in like 95, 96. Don't do it now. We don't need a hamburger.
They could really do it good now.
We don't need hamburger face Stallone trying to play John Spartan.
I'm not saying throw Stallone in there.
Whatever.
But you throw Wesley Snipes' character and you throw a Stallone character.
No, don't redo Demolition Man.
For all those producers that were thinking about doing the remakes of Fried Green Tomatoes.
You want to scrape the bottom of the barrel and see what any low-level YouTuber does.
They did that movie Little Women over and over again. But no, look, reboots are rarely. I know you said that Cape Fear was a reboot, and that one actually lived up. But then you're talking about a different, totally different generation, But
so there you go. There's 2 more for us to do.
No, I'm not doing the Cape Fear. I tried to watch the original Cape Fear movie.
We'll do Cape Fear and Scarface, because those are 2 movies we always end up talking about somehow, no matter what happens.
You mean Scarface? What are you talking about?
The old 30s one.
But that's a totally different.
So fuck it. Shit, it's probably only like an hour and 10 minutes long.
Black and white movie. I don't know if my TV can show black and white.
You're too high def. That's amazing.
Yeah, you try to watch Citizen Kane, doesn't work. Citizen Kane reboot.
King Kong, your screen set's on fire.
Well, you know what's funny about King Kong? That must be the movie with the most reboots. I mean, that movie's been made. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those movies, like there's some movies that are all about, all about reboots.
Well, Tarzan, not even just with
all about reboots.
Tarzan on with books and movies. I mean, television and movies. There was so much.
Right.
There was so much Tarzan television shit.
Right. Like if they actually made like a Demolition Man TV series, they can make a good or a Judge Dredd TV series. Oh, even a Well, you said they did the RoboCop, right?
Yeah, they did a RoboCop TV series.
That didn't land well.
Since you didn't really know too much about it, what do you think?
No, it didn't go over well. I'm sure it didn't. If it did, yeah, but there's some movies that they remake over and over again.
You know what? A Judge Dredd TV show, I think that would be fun.
Right, him fighting crime every week.
I think a Judge Dredd TV show would work.
Yeah, if they do it right. I think any TV show would work if you do it right. You just have to do it right.
All right.
You have to capture the audience.
You want to wind down?
Do you think that anybody who didn't see the okay? Here's what I'm asking you. You think that people, let's say people didn't watch. Obviously, people are gonna love the movies if they didn't watch the originals. They're gonna like them better. Do you think that this will make people? Oh, I have to watch the original. Because there's some young guys that let's say there's a 15-year-old guy, a 15-year-old kid who watches Total Recall. He goes, oh, I gotta watch the original. Do you think they're gonna hate the original because
there are a lot of young people out there, and I know this for a fact, that hate newer stuff and prefer watching older stuff. Even
right,
they even
like the 12-year-old girls with the Rolling Stone shirts.
They even prefer watching stuff from before they're born compared to shit that
you're always gonna have that. But I'm talking about the 15-year-old kid who loves movies, who doesn't know about Total Recall, who watches the movie and says, and their parents go, you know, that was a remake, and he goes, oh, let me watch the original. They're not gonna like the original as much as a person who grew up on the original. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's got like a whole different mind change, like a mind fart thing.
Oh, that's kind of, you know.
Okay, we need to find out people that like the. Okay, young kids who watched Total Recall for the first time and didn't realize there was a reboot. Then they watch the Total Recall and say, "Oh, I like the original better." I don't know if it works the same way. That's all I'm saying. That's all. We like the original because we grew up on the original. People are growing up to this new reboot.
I grew up on the original.
Yeah, people are growing up to this reboot generation now. They're growing up to Total Recall, Judge all this back. So I want to know if you go, oh, because even Cape Fear, I went to go see Cape Fear. I love the movie, but I didn't know it was a reboot. And then when somebody told me, and I watched the reboot, I hated it.
So you got all the way through the original?
No, I turned it off. No,
okay.
Because it was totally different.
It wasn't totally different. It wasn't totally
different. The names were the same. It was a Max Cady and everything, and the lawyer was there.
It wasn't totally different. There were certain scenarios that they changed up. That's what it was.
Yeah, and the whole Scarface thing, from what I understand, was a whole different movie also.
Well, I know he wasn't a friggin' Cuban immigrant.
Well,
I know the original Scarface, he wasn't a Cuban immigrant.
Right.
So, you want to wrap up the Total Recall review?
Yeah, what'd you say, meh? Yeah, meh?
Alright.
Well, it depends. Are you comparing it to the...
I give it like, kind of like a slightly...
As a movie in general.
A slightly downward, more because they're piggybacking off the name Total Recall for no friggin' reason.
Yeah, I give it the same exact thing. I think that in general...
So you give it that?
Yeah, I give it a below a half point weight. Almost like...
All they needed to do was not piggyback off the Total Recall name. Because that's all they did.
But that's my point. Would you like it more if you saw it for the first time?
And it wasn't Total Recall?
It wasn't Total Recall. Maybe.
Maybe.
See, I'm not a big Colin Farrell fan,
maybe.
so
I'll give it a maybe.
Maybe, right. It wasn't... Because it was drawn out. But if you compare the two...
Oh, I was saying, in the middle of this fucking movie, how many times I said, is this over yet?
Could we get to the action?
Is this over yet?
But then when they did get to the action, it was action-packed. But no, it wasn't... It wasn't even a great movie if you didn't compare it to Total Recall. It was like, I don't know.
Want to see the box office?
What was the box office on that?
Want to guess the budget?
2000 and what you said?
12. Want to guess the budget?
Okay. They had to have put budget money into the movie. I'm going to go over 100 million. I'm going to go 120 million. I'm going to give you ball. I'm going to get 120 million production, and I'm going to give it 150 million box office.
125 budget.
Oh, look at me! Look at the big brain on Brad. And what was the
box office?
I was going to go about 100 and I'll say 140 million.
Nah.
Well, it has to be more than that, right? Because it's we go worldwide, domestic and foreign. Okay, I'll go.
Oh yeah, this is a worldwide box.
Worldwide. Okay, so I'll go 250 million, 250 million.
Nah. It'll go a little bit under 200.
Really? Wow.
198.5.
It was a disappointment then. I mean, if you're paying that much to make the movie, and then you only
advertising,
all that shit. I mean, they were hoping that movie was going to be breaking box office records. I'm sure. You know, trying to live off that name.
Whatever. Fuck them.
And then Arnold's like, that's a total disaster. You're a fucking disaster. You make a movie about me. Quaid.
Oh yeah, so how soon are they gonna do Commando?
I would love a Commando reboot.
Reboot Commando with Channing Tatum or something.
Well, okay, Jason Statham. You have to use a really... Actually, what kind of what is a rock solid action star of today's day that you could compare to Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No one really.
There's no action star out there.
No one really, because they turn a bunch of Dawson's Creek looking motherfuckers into action stars. Am I wrong?
There's no real big action star out there. When people are like, oh, I have to see this new it used to be a new Schwarzenegger or Stallone movie or whoever it was back then, but now it's like nobody. It's nobody. The Rock, I guess. I guess The Rock is the closest one.
Yeah.
But other than
I
guess, right, exactly. He's not even he has a written in his stipulation that he can't lose a fight, remember?
I heard that
right,
shit.
him and I think
you know what? You know who actually? Batista's been having a nice little
yeah,
movie
he is on a good run. He
He's
could be an action. But they've been using him on like The Spy, My Spy, like a lot of kid type movies too. They never really use
I'm saying they gotta he's gotta pick better roles.
But he could be an action star.
He gotta pick better roles.
Than Stuber. Right, in movies like that, right?
He gotta pick better roles. That's his problem.
Yeah, you're right. Batista could be an action star. Right. But they need a new action star. But yes, I agree, and that's our review. I mean, what can I tell you?
So it's like kind of downward.
I don't compare. Look, I don't. You know, it's not better than the original, and you know, I wouldn't watch that movie ever again. I can tell you that.
I did my duty as a movie reviewer, and I took a bullet.
You know,
I took 2 bullets so far because I watched RoboCop, which I never said I was gonna watch ever in my life, and I watched Total Recall, which I said I was never.
But I would think that I liked RoboCop reboot better than the Total Recall reboot.
I will say that too.
Yes.
I will say
that I could say. That movie was kind of interesting.
I will say that too. Yes. So next on the fucking. Alright, well at least.
Point Break.
At
right?
least next coming up is what we already know is the good Point Break.
Right.
Point Break, 1991.
Right.
Goddamn Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu.
Goddamn Patrick Swayze.
Never heard a person. Yeah. I never heard another person named Keanu, but I like this Keanu in that movie. Keanu.
But
actually, he was an action star for a little while with the John Wick movies and all that.
Speed. Yeah. Johnny Mnemonic.
It's kind of right. Matrix.
I never saw Johnny Mnemonic, but
don't waste your time with it. And Van Damme was a big action star back in the days too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was.
But you don't have that big, action star nowadays. But no, if I don't bother watching the Total Recall if you think
I'd say pass.
You just pass on it.
I'd say pass.
Even if you're a huge fan of the original, we just did it for purposes of this. Other than that, we probably wouldn't have watched it
for critique purposes.
Right.
So, all right, next time will be Point Break, the good one. So, and this is what I gotta say. I have a feeling that remake of the 3 we watched, I have a feeling that one is gonna take
the cake.
The shit topping on the cake. That one's gonna be the shit topping on the cake, dude. I really have a feeling. But, alright. Chilling here with Mike. Next week. Next time, whenever. Point Break. Good one. The good one. Have a good night. Later.